Hi guys, Satan here. Welcome back to another video on the Steam controller. I fixed the issues that I was having. Um, if you're wondering what the issues were that I was having, feel free to look at the previous video that I made giving my initial thoughts and dislike for the Steam controller. But I went ahead and did some modding myself. I figured out the iFixit tool and I fixed the Steam controller. So now it's comfortable and it's exactly how I want it. So I'll take the time in this video to show you what I did, and feel free to share your opinions again because there was a lot in the last one and it was interesting to see the reception to my opinion. All right, so my first steps here were to take the controller apart and then use a Dremel on these 6 prongs you can see in the middle here. Just file those down enough to where the buttons right here are exposed enough to where you can just pop them right off, and that was a pretty easy process here. And so now moving on to the harder part, which is trying to pour epoxy into these small coin-sized holes and not make a mess. So I ended up just taping the back here with electrical tape. I probably could have used a thinner one, but so I taped the back here and then I poured epoxy into each one of these holes. I tried to keep it as thin as possible so that it would set as fast as possible. And overall, the results here, I can't complain with them. That turned out super smooth on here, and I just needed to take a razor blade and cut off just a little bit of overhang. There's not too much, there's still some on here, but I bought very thin grip tape that I'm gonna be covering it, so as long as it's like 99% thin, there's no way to feel the imperfections on the epoxy. And so this is what it looks like from the inside here. It's a little bit messy. I tried to keep it as thin as possible. After the epoxy set, it was mostly within the circles, so I took a bit of super glue and put it over the top of the epoxy as well as on the controller, so that just in case the epoxy circles, if they were to pop out, it would provide just a little bit more grip actually being stuck to the controller. And that part's a little bit messy on the inside. Not really a fan of that, but luckily there's plenty of room with the buttons being gone. I didn't have any issues while assembling it, and there was nothing was rubbing, nothing was touching. So that turned out perfect. And so just to clean that up a little bit, I put just another layer of electrical tape on there just so it's a little bit cleaner, and just to add another layer on there. But I think it turned out fine. Everything is functional, nothing's broken, even the little sense pads on the back of the controller. And so once I finished all that, this leads to the final assembly here. And in this, I'll show you the issue I was having with the iFixit tool, and then also the fix that I used to fix the iFixit so that I could fix the Steam controller. And once we get a few more of these screws in here, I will show you how I did that. All right, so these are the screws that I was having an issue with getting the iFixit tool in there low enough. So my fix for this was to take a Q-tip, cotton swab, whatever you want to call it, and break off the middle just enough to extend the iFixit tool by, like, I don't know, it's like a ½ centimeter. It's not that much, and that was the frustrating part for me, is that it was just far enough off the length to where this tool couldn't work normally with this controller. And so once I did that, everything worked out perfectly. Screw these in on both sides, And from there, we are fully back assembled with the back buttons completely taken off and a nice smooth back here, getting rid of the buttons. Now I can functionally hold the controller and squeeze it. And yes, I do squeeze the controller. And no longer am I pressing these back buttons anymore. And just overall, it immediately, even though I could still feel just barely a little bit of epoxy overlap from the tape, it's already just way more comfortable and way more enjoyable to hold the controller. So then I will show you what I did after that to do the final steps to make the controller perfect, in my opinion. And here is that. Also, right here is a bit better of an angle. The lighting's a little bit better, so you can see the way the epoxy sets in there and where the buttons are gone, and also how smooth it is. But overall, super happy with the way the epoxy worked out. I was just kind of working pretty fast, so I didn't spend too much time. I just wanted to see if my concept would work for the fixes I had in mind here, and they did. So I'll show you the final steps here. All right, so here's the final result with the controller. I bought this grip tape here off of Amazon. It's like $10 a roll. It's thin, rubbery, and really cheap. And this was the perfect stuff to lay over the epoxy. You can still kind of see lines here and kind of like small little circle outlines, but you can't feel them at all while gripping the controller. So yeah, I hated the buttons. I complained about the buttons, but I figured out a fix for them, and I feel, in my opinion, like this is the way the controller should have shipped, or at least they should have had an option like this, because it's, at least for me, it's a night and day difference. I can hold the controller now. It feels good. The grip's there. I can grip. Like a few people were saying that, like, what do you like, kung fu gripping the controller? And yes, sometimes I do. So the buttons that were there were in a terrible spot for me. So I made the changes that I wanted to make, and yeah.